What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Thank y'all so much for being here on day 43 of our 100 Days to Brave Daily Devo. Cannot believe it's day 43. I know I say that every day, but really, seriously, y'all. So today we are talking about family. You know, not yesterday, but I guess it was yesterday. Or a couple days ago, we started kind of a new chapter in the book. She does kind of these sections. And so we started this one yesterday, and it was brave enough to love others. And it says it takes guts to love. And so yesterday we talked about how brave people need people. So today we're talking about your family. And for some people that is a touchy subject, and for others it is that warm, fluffy feeling you think about maybe around the holidays or something. But it can just kind of go both directions, and she tackles both of those in here. And so we are going to be in Ephesians. But first, let's go ahead and pray, and then we will get started. Heavenly Father, Lord, I just come to you and thank you so much for all your many blessings. I just pray, Father, that you'd speak to us through this lesson, that you would just be with everybody watching this video, Lord, and just wrap your arms around us, Lord, because we do know that we are ultimately all a part of your family. We love you and we thank you. In your precious name you pray. Amen. Okay, you guys. So yes, we are talking about your family. So that could be so many different things. You may, when you think of your family, you may not have actual blood relatives that are either around or that you are with on a daily basis or a weekly basis or a monthly basis. And so your family could be your close-knit group of friends. There's so many different things, but right now I really want you to think of those blood relatives. For all of us that may not be good. I'm blessed with an amazing family. Whether it be on my side and my husband's side, we all have our issues. Obviously, we have had some major ups and some major downs, but the one thing that I love about it is that we're there for each other when it matters the most. So again, we're going to be in Ephesians 1:5. So Ephesians chapter 1 verse 5. Again, I'm going to read it out of both just because they seem very different. She does it out of the Message, and then I'll read it out of the Home and Christian. So Ephesians 1:5 says in the Message, "Long, long ago, he decided to adopt us into his family through Jesus Christ. What pleasure he took in planning this. He wanted us to enter into the celebration of his lavish gift-giving by the hand of his beloved Son." Okay, and then in the Home and Christian, it says, let me go ahead and pick it up just to make it a little easier. It says, "He predestined us to be adopted through Jesus Christ for himself, according to his favor and will." Yeah. That's it. According to his favor and will. Sorry. Thought it went on. I was going to read into 6 because it says, "To the praise of the glorious grace that he favored us with in the beloved." And I think it kind of goes into that too in here. And so basically it's saying that God chose us. Through his son, Jesus Christ, God chose every single one of us, whether you are saved or not saved, to be a part of his family. We just have to accept that invitation. Well, here on earth, we don't necessarily get to accept the invitation to be a part of a family. If you've been proposed to or that kind of stuff, then maybe you have, and you're married, you've been accepted into your spouse's family, or, you've accepted somebody into your family that way. But every different family, every family is different. They all have a different makeup. They all have a different strength, or different, weaknesses. They all go through different losses and pains and struggles. They all go through different mountaintops and different valleys. Every single family is different. And basically, some families can take, the relationships within your family can take more courage and more bravery than any other relationship you'll ever come into contact with. And I know with me, that can greatly be true. And when I think family, I even think my family here, like my spouse and my children. And so it says, she says here, she goes, "But God does family perfect. He adopted us, flawed and often unhealthy, into his family through Jesus. He loves us even when we aren't lovely." That's first and foremost. And he doesn't mean that we are required to do family perfectly. It just means that we are treated and cared for perfectly in his family. And so no matter what you're going through in life with your family right now, you're not required to do family, family, we'll even put it in quotes, perfectly. You've just got to give an effort and try. And she even goes on later in the book, and she says, or later in the little section, and she says, sometimes, The best way to love certain family members is from a distance. And that is so true. There are some family members that it's just easier for you to not be around, and it's easier for them to probably not be around you as well. And that's okay, as long as you both understand that and you both still love each other and you have that genuine feelings toward them, and you don't have any ill will towards them. That's kind of when it gets a little touchy. But she says you can be brave enough to love your family well, even if your family isn't healthy. And that doesn't mean like sick with disease or anything like that. But if your family's not in the peak of their prime and all this kind of stuff and everybody's doing great, which is probably never going to happen, it's okay to still love your family even though it's not perfect. Okay? It's okay to stand up for and be brave and strong and to have your family even though they're not perfect. Because you know what? You're not perfect. None of us are perfect. So we can't expect our family members to be perfect either. That's where we have to really work and be brave and have courage to work through some of those issues. No matter what you're going through, at the end of the day, you always want to think about the fact that tomorrow is not promised. It's not. And I have a coworker who is a great friend of mine who lost her mom suddenly a few years ago. And she reminds me all the time she reminds me that tomorrow's not promised. And God never promised you tomorrow on this earth. And so this may be the last time you have that phone call. This may be the last time that you share those text messages. This may be the last time you're in person with them. May be the last time y'all go to dinner together. You have no idea. Never try to leave a conversation in anger. Never try to leave a conversation with unanswered questions, with open-ended, upsetness or whatever. I don't even think that's a word, but my point is, you need family in your life. Your family is what's going to come around you in some of the most difficult situations of your life. I'll never forget how my mom and dad and grandmother rallied around me when I had gotten a diagnosis that I had a mass on my ovary. I'll never forget that feeling. It was several years ago, and how they just prayed for me and lifted me up and were, there for doctor's appointments, and they always let me know that no matter what, they were going to stick by me. And so there's been so many times, I know, even in mine and Chris's marriage, where we have had to be strong for one another when the other one just couldn't be. And I think that is what's the greatest thing about family. Do you have some, you may have friends who fill these voids in your life, and that is perfectly okay, because we call it family. We have some good friends that we consider family, and so they're all, they're family. They're such good friends of ours. They're family, and we consider them family. And so you may have that, and that's awesome. That is completely 100%, and this applies to them too, is that we need those people in our life. And it says, she goes, following the example of God, who lives and breathes forgiveness and grace, is what loving your family could be like. It's asking Him for wisdom when those in your family baffle you. Have we ever had that? Yes. It's praying for courage to stick with your family and love them as they are, the way God has loved you. And that's what we're called to do. And that's why I said, don't ever take for granted that phone call. Don't ever take for granted that text message or that dinner. And I'm just going to say I'm guilty of this, is there's been times, and, you'll be on the phone call with somebody, and I don't know who it is, and it's different people, and you get off the phone, and you're like, oh, I thought they were never going to be quiet. I thought they were never going to hush. Let me get off this phone so I can go watch my TV show, or do this, or do that, or I've got to start dinner, and they were just blah, 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 blah. But you never know. That may be the last time you've ever talked to them. And then a day later, or literally 2 hours later, or 2 years later, you're just like, oh, just to have one more phone call. One more phone call with that person. And so that's where I really challenge you, this is just for me, is to be brave in your relationships with your family, and to really make yourself get out of your comfort zone, and to take the time to really put effort into those phone calls and those text messages and those dinners and whatever else it is that you do with your family. And so she does mention, I want to say, that there's a book that she read, and it's called Hillbilly Elegy. I'll put that down below. Hillbilly Elegy. And she says if you haven't read it yet, oh my goodness, fix that soon, please. So I went and I kind of Googled the book, and I pulled up this Google Books thing where I could kind of preview it. It does look really good. She said it's a story. I'm going to read her thing about it because instead of trying to do it myself, she said it's a story about a guy who grew up in rural Appalachia and ended up going to Yale and creating a successful life for himself. He broke the generational norm and created something new. And she said one of her takeaways from the book was, oh my gosh, he didn't come from a healthy family. Though he does a great job honoring them in this book, he was brave enough to build his own. He has a wife and at least dogs. She goes, I think he may have kids. But she was like, where I'm going with this is, are you brave enough to where maybe your family is not perfect, because none of us are, but maybe you've had a really struggled and I can't think of the word, but you've had a bad past. Your family life in the past is just something you really don't want to look back on. And you know, you may have had a parent who was in addiction, or a parent who's passed, or a parent who was never there and never present in your life. And so you're like, I don't want that family. Well, guess what? You don't have to, because you are a part of a greater family. If you're a child of God, you're a part of His family. So you have that family to picture what you want to build your own family as. And that's what this guy in this book does. And I'm excited to go get it and read it. But she's like, are you brave enough to build a family, even if you've had problems in your other family? Are you brave enough to build one of your own that mimics the family of God that we are a part of? Every Sunday at the end of church, our pianist and the percussion player, the drum player, they always play Family of God. You know, I'm so glad I'm a part of the family of God. Da, da, da. I don't know the rest of the words. Anyways, I can't believe I just sang on camera. But we sing that every time, and I am so glad I'm a part of the family of God. And that just tells me so much more of how I need to just love the family that He's blessed me with here on this earth. And maybe if you can't be so, you know, lucky as to what I have, that's okay. It's okay, and to build your own, and to accept the fact that you are a part of something so much greater than anything we could have ever experienced here on earth. And so her Be Brave call to action is, call someone in your family. Thank this person for his or her love and support through the years. Maybe family's complicated for you. I get that. Then call someone who has been like family to you. So we all have someone in our life, whether it is somebody who's a part of our family or who someone has been like family to you. Call them and say thank you. Because like I said, you never know, you know, what tomorrow holds. Tomorrow is not promised. And I don't want this to be kind of a downer thing. I'd more so it be like an uplifting, like an encouraging message to go out there and live the best life with the family that God's given you. And maybe, like I said, maybe that's something you just can't do. Then go build your own. That is so awesome and so wonderful, that mimics the family we're a part of and that we get to spend eternity with. So y'all just think about that, okay? Remember to never take for granted what we have today. All right, you guys, we are going to go ahead. We're going to wrap up this video for tonight. Thank y'all so much for watching. I would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. That would be awesome, because then you'll be notified about more videos. Click that little bell, and then you'll get an email notification. And if you'd be ever so kind, it would really make me smile. I love when I get my big old thumbs up. If you'd like this video, I'd appreciate it. But y'all have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I'm so glad that y'all are a part of my family now and our awesome VS family. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you have any prayer requests, anything like that, you can drop them down in the comments below. But other than that, I will see y'all right here back tomorrow. Bye, y'all.